Make no friends in the pits and you take no prisoners. 1 minute you're up $500,000 in soybeans, and the next, boom, your kids don't go to college and they've repossessed your bank. Are you with me?
The revolution starts now.
We have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
Turn those machines back on! You are about to enter the Peter Schiff Show. Show me the money!
If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth.
The Peter Schiff Show is on.
I don't know when they decided that they wanted to make a virtue out of selfishness.
Your money, your story, your freedom. The Peter Schiff Show.
Today's podcast is sponsored by NetSuite. Easy to use in Canada, or if Donald Trump has his way, the 51st United States. There's a lot of provinces up here in Canada, so maybe we could add a whole bunch of states if we annex Canada. I don't know if everybody would want to just be one gigantic state, although that would really change the complexion of the Senate, because I think there's a lot of Democrats up here, although Canada. Trudeau announced that he was going to be retiring, and that's great news for Canada. He's done a horrible job in the Blair, though. I think maybe it's 90-day period or so before it becomes effective, so he can still do some more damage, just like Biden is hanging around doing more damage in the United States. But when I was listening to Donald Trump's press conference earlier today that he gave over at Mar-a-Lago. Again, he talked about, making Canada a state. But when he spoke about Canada and our current relationship with Canada, he kept talking about how, we're supporting Canada, we're defending Canada. And he said, look, we have a huge trade deficit with Canada, as if somehow that's harming the United States. It's actually helping the United States. It's unfortunate that we're not productive enough to get by without all those Canadian products. But Donald Trump specifically said, we don't need any Canadian cars. We don't need any Canadian timber. Well, of course we do. I mean, we build houses. We drive cars. I mean, if we didn't have access to Canadian lumber or Canadian cars or any of the other things that we import from Canada, America imports a lot of stuff from Canada, what does Donald Trump think would happen to the price of all that stuff? It would go way up. How we don't need any of the Canadian products. Said the same thing about Europe, So we have a huge trade deficit with Europe. We don't need those products either. Of course we do. I mean, from Europe, we're buying stuff from Canada because we don't make it. That's why we're doing that. If we could make the stuff more efficiently, then we'd be doing it. The reason we're not doing it is because we can't. Now, we could, but that would require a lot of changes to the underlying structure of the economy, and it's going to have to start with regulation, taxation, government spending, monetary policy. But none of those changes are likely to be implemented. But we do need all these products, but at the same time, he was criticizing Canada and Europe, saying we don't need any of their stuff. He was also talking about the huge inflation problem that he's inheriting from Joe Biden, as if, again, he had no role in creating the problem, which, of course, he did, as I've explained on this podcast, too. the big increase in the CPI, and the worst year of CPI measured inflation was 2021, the very first year that Biden was in office. But that big jump started in the last few months of the Trump presidency. But of course, the policies that led to it began earlier in the Trump presidency. So it's not like but at the same time that he's saying we don't need any of these Canadian products, we don't need any of these European products, he's complaining to make it even higher is to deprive the United States of all these products, because that would reduce the supply of goods for Americans to buy. And basic economics, you reduce the supply, you get a big increase in the price. And that's exactly what would happen. You know, he also talks about why he wants to, we want to take over Greenland, the Panama Canal, and he implied that we might even try to seize these, territories with military force. But he said, look, if not that, it's going to be economic pressure. He said, we'll sanction or we'll tariff Denmark if they don't want to give us Greenland or something like that. But again, you can't tariff Denmark. Denmark doesn't pay any tariffs. He just tariffs Americans who want to buy Danish products, making those products more expensive. So he wants to add to the inflationary problem. But, at the same time that Donald Trump was talking about the inflation problem that he's inheriting from Biden, he also talked about the interest rate problem. He said interest rates are too high. We need lower inflation and we need lower interest rates, without recognizing that higher interest rates. But of course, the higher interest rates are going to do nothing unless we also get meaningful cuts in government spending. And so far, everything that the government has been spend more money. That's all they're doing. All Congress has.
Hello?
Oh, this is Ryan with Rogers Cable.
Hi, are you here?
I'm on my way. I'll be there in a couple minutes. I'll do some work outside first, then I'll come.